The Vuelta, it never disappoints, even if the weather is rather challenging sometimes. And so it was, shrouding Jay Vine's victory, but his joy just blew away the clouds. Fabulous victory for him, and a great second place for Remco Evenepoel as he went into the red jersey. He and Enric Mas coming in together, and indeed putting some of the main rivals much further behind. Primož Roglič, a minute and 1 off Evenepoel, our leader. He sits 21 seconds in front of Rudy Mollard and Enric Mas. So what would Stage 7 offer to us? Well, a strange course, and one that would pose a few questions. Rolling terrain early on, then a mighty climb dead centre, and then a gradually descending road to a finish. How would it be played? Well, it begged a breakaway, and all talk was of that at the front of the pack before we started. In the end, 6 riders got up the road. Jesus Herrera for Cofidis, Battistella from Astana. We had Fred Wright again from Bahrain Victorious, Omar Goldstein of Israel Premier Tech, Harry Sweeney from Lotto Soudal, and Jimmy Janssens from Alpecin-Deceuninck. This is what they were dealing with. Divided into 3 parts, the main section being that dreadful climb. How would it be taken, and what would the gap be? Well, these were the 6 riders that managed to escape. Took a while with Euskaltel Euskadi forming the main chase, but they had to let them go. The gap went up to about 4 minutes and 20 at one point, and then the hammer was thrown down by Trek Segafredo on the big climb of the day. The idea was to put sprinters in trouble. Merlier was off the back, so indeed was this man, Ackermann. Sam Bennett seemed to be struggling, but his teammates made sure that he stayed in touch. So they failed to shake off some of the main rivals to Mads Pedersen. Up front, Jesus Herrera crested the day's only climb. Trek still punishing, but sustaining those blows was the man in green. Well, would it be a battle plan failure for Trek Segafredo? When we came over the top of the mountain, we came into pleasant weather and a high-speed descent. 50 kilometres from home, it seemed that a gap of 2 minutes and 28 might well be bridged. But a tailwind was set fair for the break, and it didn't matter. Even though Trek Segafredo took their foot off the gas up front, others came through. Bike exchange, Arkea Samsic, working of course for Caden Groves and Dan McClay. It was all ultimately to no avail. High pace through the day, and finally the realisation that this breakaway was going to make it home. A gap of a minute with 10 Ks to go. The sprinters' teams eased up, thinking about minor points perhaps. It was all down to the breakaway. Well, after such pace throughout the day, who would have anything left? Well, first man to test the water was Jimmy Janssens for Alpecin-Deceuninck. And then over the final rise down to the line, Fred Wright went early. Harry Sweeney just couldn't respond. Going to the centre of the road, Jesus Herrera. Going the other side to the barriers was Battistella. It was between those two as Fred was ultimately destined to finish third. Herrera on the throw, beating Battistella. Hugely emotional moment for Jesus Herrera. The pack came through a few moments later. It was Sam Bennett that crossed the line first, adding to his points advantage over Mads Pedersen, whose team had done so much. Herrera fell into the arms of his teammates. Second Spanish victory, and the overhead shot shows that he timed it absolutely perfectly. The fast finishing Samuel Battistella simply ran out of road. Herrera taking it ahead of Battistella. Fred Wright in third place. He's having a great tour. Janssens, Sweeney, Bennett, Stewart getting up, Groves, Pedersen finishing 9th after all that hard work, and Dan McClay rounding out the top 10. Remco Evenepoel, he'll be, well, hoping that this weekend, which is incredibly difficult, we'll still see him in red by the end of it. He leads Mollard by 21 seconds, Enric Mas in third place, Roglič a minute and 1 down. Sam Bennett enhances his position in the green jersey but must look at the parcours of this coming weekend with fear, as all the fast men will. He's on 142 points. That's Pedersen, his nearest rival, on 127. And this is what Saturday brings. Hell on earth, if you don't like climbing. If you do, it could be heaven. Climbing straight out of the back door, and the day never stops going either up or down. Virtually no flat on a punishing parcours, and pretty much more of the same on Sunday. We cannot wait for the action. We'll be seeing it from flag to line. Don't miss it.